We're talking Philadelphia Eagles, and Bob, this is one of my favorite guys because it's funny how we met. And we were just talking about this off the air, and I'll refresh his memory. He's a 5-time Pro Bowl player. All right, he had tied for the longest career touchdown pass in the NFL, 99 yards. He's in the Philadelphia Eagles Hall of Fame. He's part of the Eagles broadcast. Let's welcome into the locker room our friend Mike Quick. What's up, Mike?
Hey, what's going on, twin?
Well, Mike, I was just telling my brother during the break, I'll never forget when you and I first met. You used to go to see my brother at the Car Emporium.
It's on Route 70.
On Route 70, the exotic cars, and you'd hang out and talk to him. And I think you must have left there and headed over to the airport, and you saw me standing in the jetway, and your head was on the swivel going, what's that? What are you doing
How'd
here?
you get here?
Yeah, I thought somebody was playing a joke on me.
Your eyes lit up like it was like, what are you doing here? It was so funny. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing well, man. You know, it's football season, so for most people, the year begins in January. This is when the year begins for me. It's football season.
I'll tell you what, Mike, I love hearing you on the broadcast,
Merle, yeah.
man. You guys are great. You do a great job, and it just feels like home. Listening to you, man, I love your voice and your inflection, and having that Super Bowl under your belt, getting to the pinnacle as part of the organization, that's pretty cool, isn't it, Mike, for you?
Yeah, that whole experience was very cool for me. You know, as a guy who played his entire career in Philadelphia and then remained in the area, I'm an Eagle. So that's for life. So to be a part of that, that whole experience was just an unbelievable thing. And, you know, it's kind of a lifetime thing that I'll have forever and ever. And I'll tell my kids, my grandkids about it for as long as I'm around.
Now, Mike, we have a couple mutual friends in Mark Grimes, but also Stanton. I remember a story. My brother Bobby lived up on 31st Street, and the Stantons lived behind us. You used to walk over to. Did you always come down and hang out with Stanton? Dave Stanton.
Yeah, I know the Stanton boys. Actually, Dave's brother Nip and I played college ball together in North Carolina State.
Yeah.
You know, Bill Cower and that whole crew down at NC State, we were all there together with
Oh, that must have been a wild time.
The Stans from Haddonfield.
So it's interesting. They called him Nip around here. He was Squatty down at NC State. Yeah. He goes by a lot of different nicknames.
He was a big dude, man.
Yeah,
he was a tough guy.
He was a great football player here in South Jersey, Stantons. And, of course, that's a famous family from Haddonfield. All right, Mike, a lot's been made about keeping these players healthy. I know it's a different time from when you played, but we don't get to see the players like we have, or the big guys, the starters. I mean, the offensive line by and large is getting to play, defensive line, but it's like we got these guys in bubble wrap.
Yeah, it's not the same. You know, when I played, men were men. It's different now.
Hey, we had Beasley Reese on last week, Mike, and he said the same thing, man.
Well, the real deal is that they've actually gotten a lot smarter about the way they manage these players. You know, when you're talking about trying to take the helmet out of the game, out of the hitting part of the game, and some of the ways that they're handling training camps, it's going to be better for these guys post-football, and that's what I look at. There's so many guys that are my era guys, my age, that are having a lot of physical, mental issues, and a lot of it is due to what they were asked to do during their playing career, and a lot of the things that they're trying to take away from the game that I think is going to really help these guys in the long run. Now, for fans, there are things that we're not going to enjoy because of this, but I think it's better for the player.
Well, Mike, yeah, I think the league too is they weren't they on the hook for some, I don't know, if lawsuits or I mean, it's probably part of it too, the way that comes down. They were trying to protect themselves, I guess, too, along with protecting the player. But it's a business,
Yeah, well, the league has been forced to by the players to do a better job of protecting guys, doing a better job of making sure that, as I said, when the guys leave the game, that they're not as beaten up and mangled as some of the guys who are my era guys who are having trouble just day-to-day operation.
We're talking with Mike Quick, former Eagles player, and now a broadcaster on the broadcast team with Merrill Reese. Of course, you can catch Mike and Merrill at every Eagles game here on 97.3 ESPN South Jersey. Do a great job. Mike, as a former player, we're hearing a lot of, well, first of all, we're hearing a lot about how this team is, on paper, is a really good team, better than what they've had. Even Coach Peterson alluded to it. As a former player, being around, you know, there's things that you can pick up on because you did play. What about this team, just from your standpoint of view, what you see behind the scenes indicates that this team is better equipped for a long run possible Super Bowl appearance again?
Well, I look at first the quarterback and the experience that he has now after watching Nick Foles over the past couple of years. The play that he's gotten in the early stages of his career, the growth there, and already coming into the league, just a phenomenal football player, really smart, great football IQ, great athlete. But the experience that he's gained over the past few years, and then I look at the depth at all the positions, and you really have to begin, if you're going to be successful in this league, at the offensive line. The offensive line, they are deep. They are talented and well-suited for the backup guys. They get so much work that they are able to plug in backup guys that I think are going to play without anybody missing a beat. So it begins at those two positions. You secure at the quarterback position, they sign him to a long-term deal or an extended deal. You got a really good offensive line. Then the skilled players, the depth at the wide receiver position, the depth at the running back position, it's really a well-constructed roster. And you go on the defensive side, same thing. It begins with the defensive line. That's a very deep defensive line, and it just goes on and on from there. So, yeah, when I look at this roster and the way it's constructed, I think this is a very talented and a very deep football team, but you don't win with that. What's on paper is not the way you win. It's what you do on Sundays.
And of course, you know, injuries are part of the game, and so if they are deep, that bodes well for them.
That's good.
Deep in the season.
Yeah, Mike. Billy and I were talking earlier that a lot of players are superstitious. I don't know if you were, but I know as a player I was. And my thing is, with Carson Wentz and not get any preseason snaps at all. Going into the first season, I'm thinking, every time he take his drop back or a run, I'm kind of holding my breath. You kind of get that sense?
Well, that's just football. Whether it's preseason, regular season, guys get hurt. You got men that are running around banging into one another, and people are going to get hurt. That's just the nature of this business. But I would much rather you go into the regular season with the main components of your team healthy rather than risking that, especially when you feel like they're in a good position. They've gotten the work in that you feel like they need. I would much rather see them go into the regular season, and if there's an injury that's going to occur, have it happen then when it really matters rather than in the preseason.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you want to have all your guns, everybody lined up, and when they kick the ball off in September. I agree with you. Just there's something to be said.
Yeah,
about
but Mike, you're a receiver, so you have to have a chemistry with the quarterback. The timing it takes a while, man. So he's never thrown to Deshaun Jackson. He's got this Arcadia Whiteside or whatever. It's gonna. There's a lot of weapons.
And this team got slow. They were slow scoring first quarter points last year, Mike. They were worse than the league.
They were terrible in the first quarter. They scored. Listen, in 16 games, they scored 41 points total in the first quarter. That's horrible.
I know. I don't know. I just think it's going to be a while for them to get their chemistry together between Carson Wentz and all these receivers because, he loves to throw to Ernst. We know that's going to be a given. But these other guys,
Well, I just don't think it's, we make a lot of the getting the chemistry with the wide receivers and all that. I really don't think it's that difficult.
Okay.
You throw the ball, I catch the ball.
And Mike, you did a lot of catching, that's for sure.
Pitch and catch.
All right. Hey, Mike, what do you think? You think this team poised to go to a Super Bowl this year? What do you think?
Well, it all, it's when you look at the end of the season, who's hot? Which teams are hot? First, which teams are healthy? Which teams have their best 11 when they go out on offense, go out on defense? That's really what it boils down to. If they have enough healthy bodies, the key bodies at the end of the season, absolutely. I think they're as talented as any team in football right now. But in December, is that the case? And if that is the case in December, I would say absolutely.
All right, there's Mike Quick, everybody. Thank you so much, Mike. We really appreciate it. Like to hear you before the start of the season. Get us all pumped up for football. And thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me. Have a good day.
Have a good day.
There's Mike Quick, Philadelphia broadcast. He's a Hall of Fame, Philadelphia Eagles Hall of Famer. And once again, you can listen to Mike and Merrill Reese, the Eagles games on 97.3 ESPN South Jersey.